African Mining Week 2025 and the 10th ACPA meeting, that's the meeting of the African Diamond Producers Association, here at the Freetown International Conference Center in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Here is the take of the Minister on local content.
We're talking about local content and we're talking about local communities. And if you go even further down past the job creation, even more grassroots, you were telling me about some fantastic stories in and around how communities are benefiting from some of the percentages of what the international companies are doing. And I think that's really important to dwell on because, as I say, you see these big multinationals working and you're thinking, but what are they actually contributing to us? And I think it was really interesting to see how much joy and happiness it brought to you personally when you were telling me about some of the things that are going on in the more rural areas. And I think it's just important that we try and explain a bit more and dwell on that because under your stewardship, we're seeing more of that money going back into the community.
Thank you very much. Very good point. As we are talking about the local issues or domesticating other African-wide policy instruments, the community development is extremely important. Mining takes place in hard-to-reach communities that are mostly deprived or devoid of the normal social benefits that you attribute to an industrialized area. So prior to the new Mines and Minerals Development Act, in the 2009 Act, it was there that investors or mining companies should give to the community 0.01% of their gross value of export of the previous year. That was, honestly, I will talk to my Sierra Leonean brothers and sisters. That basically was dehumanizing to those people in that community. It means for every $1 million you make, you give the community 1,000. For every 100 million, 10,000. Under the vision or the leadership of His Excellency President Julius Mada Bio, when we revised the Mines and Minerals Act, we increased that to at least 1% of the gross turnover of previous year. And we've seen that implemented fantastically. Just this year.
So what does that mean financially?
This year, we went to Marampa, it was in February, where Marampa handed a check of $3.7 million to the community. Two chiefs, the Mafroki and Marampa, where they mine iron ore. That was for 2 years. Then 2 years ago, they handed over another $1.7 million. I'll put that in context. Then also, last year, or the past 2 years, Kingo Mining Company that operates in Tonkolili gave also, checks to the communities, 20 billion leons, 56 billion, which we are just amounting to over 1 million each, if you consider the inflation and other stuff. And we are going back next week, Tuesday, to hand over. Last year, Kingo doubled almost their exports. So we do believe the money they've not disclosed yet, but we'll calculate in the figures to make sure that they rhyme. Now, all these communities have what they call primary host communities where mining takes place, and they have a partnership or an agreement signed with the mining companies and the primary host. Those are the chiefdoms, represented also, they have a representation there of the local council, the paramount chiefs, the key pressure groups within those chiefdoms. So this money is used to develop. So the communities, they come together, they have a CDC called Community Development Committee, where they define how to use this money and what it should be used for in consultation with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, as well as Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, so that they can build schools, hospitals, build roads, and also invest in the community. This is in addition to other community development activities taking place. And that has happened over the past 2 years, since we enacted the Mines and Minerals Act. And this has actually created more impact in the communities. And we try to build on that. And that's not the only thing. We've also enacted what we call Mining District Development Fund. What that means, those chiefdoms or those areas where basically there's mining taking place in a district. Say, for example, Port Loko has about 13 chiefdoms, but the mining activities of Marampa Mines Limited is taking place in only 2. That's Mafoki and Marampa. So the other 11 basically might say, oh, we're not getting anything. because those monies that are given, that I've just called, are for the two chiefdom. So what we decided was also the money we get are royalties from the government, from the total export of the minerals. The Ministry of Finance will have to take 20% of that to put that in an escrow account and then share that 20% of the royalties to those chiefdoms in those districts where mining is taking
Creating more
place,
impact.
so that it creates more impact and this then cascades across. So we have men and women coming in there providing in terms of catering, security, markets, housing here and there.